We're expecting calves in a few weeks. They look almost ready to pop. The cows are in good shape. Got a couple of skinny sheep, probably parasites. I'm just going to consider what to do with these. It's Monday, which means slaughter day, and every day now till the end of the season, every Monday. Matt's on scolding, and we're scolding 75 seconds at 63. New plucker's been working really well with that ratio, and it's a horrible rainy day, but it's quite nice and warm in here. So we're doing about 250 birds today, and that will be the same now for the rest of the year, every Monday. And Tuesday will be packing day as well as veg box day. Birds come over here, everyone's set up with a sharpened knife. So last night I set up the scolders, I sharpened all the knives with a whetstone. Secateurs for necks, for keeping necks like as hearts. Waste goes down here. Clean team, do inspections, rinse out, make sure the bed's good, and grade them before they pass them through the Sarah in the back. Miss Lang is back. Sarah was our cauldron maestro last year. What is the process when the birds come into clean side, Sarah?
So the birds come in on the table, and one of the first things I do is write down when they come in.
When they come into the dirty side?
Yeah. No, well, I write when they come in over there as a group of 6.
Yeah.
And then each individual bird I write down when it comes into the clean room.
So we know exactly how long it took from a bird being killed to getting into the chiller.
Exactly.
And then what have you got going on here?
And then, well, with the birds, the next thing I do is wrap them and flip the neck skin over and hang them up. And then I just do a final check of if there's anything left and give it a grade. And then go put the grade next to the time when they came in.
So we grade the birds like A grade is perfect bird, perfect condition, it's a premium bird, and then we have B grade is like a minor mark on the skin, something like that, and then C grade is a broken wing or something we will eat ourselves and not sell to our customers.
Yeah.
And then these are for organs?
Yep, so organs come in colanders, and then I separate them into bags based on what they are and the date, so that when they're in the freezer we know what they are, we know when they're from, and then they just get the air squished out and they get zip tied and clipped, and then they go into a cool box.
They go into a cool box in the chiller with ice water, usually.
Yep.
And so Sarah's responsible for keeping track of all the birds, and then she will probe them in the deepest tissue, like in the breast meat. And we have to show the chill down procedure, and that's all papers. These papers go into the folder each time we do a slaughter session, and we have to send a copy of them to the regulators. Thanks, Sarah. Have a good day. So the slaughter went well. We've came out with 250 birds, over 2 kilos, and just got to update the spreadsheets today to know the actual average weights, but I think it's about 2.1, 2.2. So a bit fairer weather definitely helped, and also in this case we're selecting out the bigger birds for each slaughter session. Hens are enjoying the late evening sun, having their dust baths here, and I'm on my bike so it's a little bumpy. Off for dinner.
Yeah, that's good. Let's make.
So it's time to plant the willow cuttings. We're just going to gather them all up here and head up to Nutfield. So Michael's distributing bundles every 16-17 meters, which is when we'll run out of plants. And then we just poke a stick in every meter and guess the offset in between. So, we've got a big team, but it's taken about 20 minutes to do the whole farm. And that's over 2,000 plants, so very nice job. Some messy bits where the roots have been ripped out of the ground here, but generally it's a nice cut. And you'll get a bit of dieback on the grasses, but it's 27 centimeters under down. And the roots have been soaking, the cuttings have been soaking for 4 days. And some of the some nodulation going on at the base of them, but no roots formed yet, so it's perfect time to get them in the ground. It rained heavily the other day and it's going to rain again this week, so perfect. Here's an area where there's some field drainage that doesn't work. This whole marshy area running down the farm we're going to turn into pocket ponds. It's full of sedges. It's not very good for pasture anyway. We might do pocket ponds one day when we have some surplus time with a digger, and just have receding level ponds that fill up as it rains and dry out again. That's a nice little habitat to have on the farm. And we'll make a crossing over here so we can get the eggmobiles up into this quarter that we never usually bring them into. So this is the area at the bottom of the field where the drainage ditches come down here. There is drainage pipes over here that never worked. There were 2 excavations. If you go on Google Earth and look back in time, there are 2 pipes about 1.20 meters down trickling water, so some water comes out of them, and it's failed. I saw on the old Google Earth, and I asked the local digger drivers and they told me they had actually installed it and it hadn't worked, so they dug it all up and done it again. And it still doesn't work. You see it's full of wetland species, and so rather than try and change this into something else, I think I'll accentuate it by digging pocket ponds. There's clay in all of this soil here. And so with a simple excavated clay-walled and overspilled series of ponds, they would fill up every time it rains in their spring flow and then dry up when it's dry weather. So we got some spare time today because we planted that up so quick, and look at these beautiful broccolis going in this week's Rico box. We got chickens to add on to the Rico deliveries this week. But our friend Joe is coming tonight. He's an arborist, very skilled arborist, who's going to do some tree care, chainsaw safety, chainsaw sharpening maintenance and rope work with the guys. There's Ruben. And the farm managers are working on new fencing. So we've got a laneway to come in here and along the pathway here to connect up to the larch paddock, and then we're hoping to build the new paddocks in the spruce up here and the paddock from last year behind the trees there, hopefully with the intern soon. But they've been working on the paddock under the electric line here, which is a 2-fold paddock, so there'll be a laneway here connecting to the laneway here. And the reason we're putting in permanent fences here is to be able to move animals around easily without, pigs are hard to herd and it gets quite dense in here. So it's not fun trying to catch pigs that escape out of temporary fences. And so they've been putting all the posts up, that it just needs wires now. So the pigs were up in the top half. There's a road that joins, you can just make out the gate posts here. So there was a top paddock and there was temporary sheep netting across, but that didn't work out so well because the piggies wanted to go and explore. So pigs are back in old paddock. New line goes down here. This is very wet here. So this hill is quite steep on the other side. We're leaving this out of the paddocks just to protect this area a little bit. And the laneway will come up here, up there. So this, in the trees, will be a whole nother paddock. And then the old paddock at the back will need a permanent fence. That was on temporary fence last year, just a triple wire temporary fence. And we got water installed all the way up. So we'll be able to bring water to these paddocks. That seems to work out okay. And considering not having so many pigs next year already to allow, because we're thinking to cut this forest down over the winter and let it start regenerating into mixed species like here. And to allow that to happen, we'll need to reduce the pig numbers. Otherwise they'll just turn up any new saplings. And eventually turn this all back to grasses. This is where the pigs were last year. And we want to turn it back to trees over pasture for overwintering the cows and the sheep. Dinner bell's gone. These guys have been hard at work getting this fence together. Chicken's doing good, strawberries are good. And our friend Joe's arriving in half an hour to do tree care and cooked in butter.
Fresh herbs,
Fresh
thyme and
herbs.
oregano, and salt and onions, just that.
Looks awesome. Let's find out a lot more in our book, Making Small Farms Work. See you next time.